In 2013, a group of explorers in South Africa stumbled upon something that would change the story of human evolution forever. Deep inside the Rising Star cave system, they discovered a hidden chamber filled with bones, hundreds of them. As the team carefully examined the remains, they realized these bones didn't belong to any known human species. What they found was something completely unexpected, a new kind of ancient human. Unlike anything anyone had seen before, the fossils belonged to a species called Homo Naledi, a small, mysterious creature that lived almost 300,000 years ago. At first, scientists were puzzled. How had these bones, which seemed to belong to a primitive species, ended up in a deep, hard-to-reach cave? The caves were difficult to navigate, and there was no clear way these ancient humans could have accidentally wandered so deep underground. The discovery didn't just change history, it raised a flood of questions. How did Homo Naledi, with its small brain and primitive tools, manage to navigate the cave so precisely? Was this an intentional burial site? And if so, what did that say about their intelligence? The mystery had only just begun. This incredible find would force experts to reconsider everything they knew about human evolution. Homo Naledi wasn't just a new discovery, it was a key to unlocking the past, with secrets waiting to be uncovered. Homo Naledi was unlike any human species previously discovered. Standing at just about 4.5 feet tall, with a small body and brain, they looked more primitive than modern humans. Their small, rounded skulls and simple features seemed to place them closer to ancient ape-like ancestors. Yet as scientists examined the fossils more closely, they found strange clues that suggested something much more complex. Despite their small brains, about a third the size of ours, Homo Naledi had a surprisingly human-like body. They walked on two legs like us, but their hands and feet were oddly modern, capable of delicate tasks. One of the most surprising discoveries was the way they used their hands. Homo Naledi had thumbs that allowed them to grip and manipulate objects just like humans do today. This raised an intriguing question. Could they have been smarter than we first thought? Did their brains, despite being small, allow them to use tools or create structures? There was no evidence of advanced technology, but the way their bodies were built suggested they could have performed tasks that required cooperation, like hunting or building shelters. What was even more baffling was the possibility that Homo Naledi may have buried their dead. No other species with such small brains had ever been believed to understand death in such a way. Could these ancient beings have had a complex social structure, one that included rituals around death? It was a mystery that kept growing, making Homo Naledi even more fascinating and puzzling than ever before. The Rising Star Cave, where Homo Naledi's remains were found, held more than just bones. It seemed to guard a mystery deep within its narrow passageways. The cave was difficult to reach, with tight, twisting tunnels that required skill and determination to navigate. For months, explorers and scientists worked tirelessly to uncover the secrets hidden in the dark. And what they found seemed to defy everything they thought they knew about ancient humans. As they dug deeper into the cave, they discovered something unexpected. Many of the Homo Naledi remains were carefully placed in narrow, almost inaccessible parts of the cave, far from the entrance. The bones weren't scattered randomly, but instead appeared to be deliberately hidden. This raised a haunting question. Why would Homo Naledi have gone to such great lengths to place their dead in such a remote, dangerous part of the cave? The answer seemed clear, but no one dared say it yet. Was this evidence that they had some understanding of death? Perhaps, like humans, they had a burial ritual. Other clues suggested that Homo Naledi didn't just accidentally end up in the cave. They had deliberately made the journey. This raised another mystery. How did these small-brained, primitive creatures manage to navigate such difficult terrain, especially if they didn't have advanced tools or knowledge of their surroundings? Were they more intelligent and resourceful than we had ever imagined? As each new discovery was made, the cave seemed to whisper its secrets, secrets that could change. everything we thought we knew about humanity's past. The Rising Star Cave wasn't just a burial site, it was a clue to understanding how Homo Naledi survived in a world that was harsh and unpredictable. The more scientists studied the remains, the more questions arose. How did this small, primitive species navigate such a treacherous environment? The cave system was deep, with narrow, winding tunnels that required a combination of skill and physical agility to reach. For Homo Naledi to access these caves, they must have had some knowledge of their surroundings, and yet they lacked the advanced tools or technology that we typically associate with intelligent species. It became clear that Homo Naledi must have had a level of social cooperation that allowed them to thrive. They were not solitary creatures. They had to rely on each other. Perhaps they lived in small groups, working together to gather food, build shelter, and protect themselves from predators. The way they moved through dangerous spaces suggested they weren't just surviving. They were doing so with purpose and planning. It wasn't just instinct that kept them alive. It was their ability to cooperate and adapt to their environment. Despite their small brains and primitive tools, Homo Naledi's ability to survive in such harsh conditions hinted at something deeper. They might have had an understanding of teamwork and problem-solving that we didn't expect from such an early species. How they managed to live and thrive in such a hostile world was still unclear, but their survival against the odds suggested that Homo Naledi were far more complex than we once believed. They weren't just a primitive species. They were survivors. Despite the surprising resilience and intelligence displayed by Homo Naledi, they vanished from the earth without leaving much trace. Their remains, carefully hidden in the depths of the Rising Star Cave, suggested that they lived and died in isolation. But what happened to them? Why did this unique species disappear? And why did we find their bones in a cave so far from the reach of everyday life? One theory suggests that Homo Naledi may have struggled to compete with other, more advanced human species. As early humans began to spread across the globe, Homo Naledi's small brains and lack of sophisticated tools might have put them at a disadvantage. Their survival skills, impressive as they were, may not have been enough to keep up with the changing environment or the more resourceful species that emerged. Another possibility is that they were simply a species that couldn't adapt fast enough to the dramatic changes in the climate and environment. The world was changing rapidly, and Homo Naledi may not have been able to survive the shifts in resources, food, and living conditions. Were they too isolated, relying too heavily on their small groups? The lack of evidence that they evolved further points to a population that may have simply stagnated, unable to evolve quickly enough to survive. The extinction of Homo Naledi remains one of the greatest mysteries. Could they have lived alongside early humans only to fade away unnoticed? Or did they vanish due to an environmental disaster that wiped out their fragile population? The truth is still hidden beneath layers of mystery, and Homo Naledi's disappearance leaves us with one final question. What lessons could we learn from a species that nearly thrived and then disappeared without a trace? The discovery of Homo Naledi forced scientists to rethink everything they thought they knew about human evolution. For years, we believed that the evolution of humans followed a clear path, from primitive ape-like ancestors to more advanced species with larger brains, tools, and sophisticated social structures. But the existence of Homo Naledi challenged this simple narrative. Despite their small brains, Homo Naledi displayed traits that were surprisingly advanced. They were capable of walking upright, using their hands for precise tasks, and possibly even engaging in burial rituals. These behaviors were once thought to be exclusive to humans with larger brains, but Homo Naledi's existence revealed that intelligence might not be directly tied to brain size. This discovery made scientists question the traditional view of human evolution, suggesting that there may have been multiple paths to intelligence and social behavior, not just one clear, linear route. Some researchers began to wonder whether Homo naledi could have lived alongside other human species, like Homo sapiens or Neanderthals, and influenced their development in subtle ways. While there is no direct evidence to prove this, the possibility that Homo naledi shared the Earth with other early humans opens up new questions about the complexity of early human societies. Did these species learn from each other? Did they interact, or were they simply parallel beings, each trying to survive in a changing world? The legacy of Homo naledi is far from over. As scientists continue to study their remains, they realize that this species may have been an unexpected key to understanding how humans evolved. The mysteries of Homo naledi have reshaped our understanding of human history and left us wondering, how many more ancient human secrets are buried, waiting to be uncovered? Homo naledi may have vanished from the Earth, but their discovery has left a lasting impact on our understanding of human history. The fossils they left behind have opened a new chapter in the story of human evolution, one that's more complex, mysterious, and fascinating than we ever imagined. The key to Homo naledi's legacy lies not just in their bones, but in the questions they raised. How could a species with such a small brain exhibit behaviors once thought to be exclusive to more advanced humans? Their existence suggests that intelligence, social behavior, and even cultural practices like burial rituals might have appeared in different forms across early human species, challenging our long-held beliefs about what it means to be human. The idea that Homo naledi, with their primitive tools and small brains, could have developed such complex behaviors is both surprising and thought-provoking. It shows us that the line between what makes us human and what makes us different from other species is not as clear-cut as we once thought. The legacy of Homo naledi also forces us to reconsider the way we view our place in the history of life on Earth. Perhaps we are not the only species to have shaped the planet in significant ways. Other ancient humans, like Homo naledi, may have played a larger role in shaping our world than we've realized. Their story, hidden in a cave for hundreds of thousands of years, reminds us that human evolution is not just a single story, but a collection of paths, all leading to the present moment. As new discoveries are made, Homo naledi's story will continue to challenge, intrigue, and inspire. The mystery of their existence has sparked curiosity in scientists and laypeople alike, and their influence on human evolution is something we are only beginning to understand. What other ancient mysteries lie buried, waiting for the next generation of explorers to uncover? One thing is certain: Homo naledi's legacy will continue to echo through the halls of history, reminding us of how much more there is to learn about our distant past.